Today I'm going to show you how to make fluffy buttermilk pancakes. You're going to need 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 6 teaspoons baking powder, a ½ teaspoon salt and 2 tablespoons sugar, 4 tablespoons melted butter, a ½ teaspoon of vanilla, and 1½ cups of buttermilk. If you have store-bought buttermilk, great. If you want to make your own, follow the link in my notes section and you'll find out how to make 30-second buttermilk. So I'm going to start by putting my 2 eggs in my mixer. Now this is key. All we're going to put in is the 2 eggs and we're going to let them beat for 3 minutes. This is what's going to give those pancakes that fluffiness that we just love. I've got my wax paper here because then I can just put my eggs on there. I don't have to clean the counter. I can just throw that away when I'm done. So we'll start this, we'll set it on medium high. And this is about where we want it. It's been 3 minutes. Let me show you a tip. Now is the time to rinse it. Rinse this off and you won't be scrubbing later. Will it take me 15 seconds? I still need to wash it, but it's gonna take me just as long to wash it now. If I'd have waited till after, now you're scrubbing, and if you have a whisk that's coated, you can scratch it off. Do yourself a favor, rinse immediately. Okay, so here are the eggs. That's what we want. It's been 3 minutes. Nice and fluffy. Now we don't want to lose the fluff. So we're done with the mixer. Set it aside, it did its job, well done. Now it's time to mix it all in without losing the fluff. What we'll do is we'll fold it in. I love using these spatulas. I could use a spoon if you have one, that's fine. You just have to be a little more careful. But we want to kind of fold it in, a little more than a fold, but you don't want to stir because then you're going to lose all the fluff you just did. Okay, so we're going to add our flour. And I'm adding the baking powder. Just add it all in. Sprinkle it around. You don't want to get stuck in one spot. Salt and the sugar. Oh. And then the butter. My ½ teaspoon of vanilla. If you're using imitation vanilla, I would put about 3/4 teaspoon, but it'll be just fine. And then, of course, the buttermilk. Now we put it all in. I'm now gonna see how it's like this. I'm still gonna fold. I want to mix. You just want to take it and go with it, but no, just fold it in. It will fold in just fine. It will be slightly lumpy, but that's what you want. You don't want like these chunks, of course, but just fold it in, scraping the bottom till you get it all here. Just fold, fold, fold. Sometimes I feel like I need to break a lump. That's fine. Scraping the sides. And just keep folding it. Look at that. See how it's changing already? It's already incorporating, but I'm not losing the fluff. That's so important. Whether you're making pancakes or your waffles, that's going to be the key to your fluffy, tender pancakes. Okay, we're about to a point. I think I'm going to go a little longer. And then I'm going to let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. I wouldn't go more than 10 because I think it would get too thick at that point, but I'm thinking 5 minutes would be perfect. Get my parchment paper. Don't want to clean off unnecessary messes. And let me get that bit right there. And now we will let that sit for 5 minutes. Okay, so I've preheated my griddle. When I set that to just sit and wait for 5 minutes, I turn my griddle on to 325 degrees. That is very important. You don't want to go 375, 350 because then it will cook the outside and not the inside very well. Or if you go too low, it takes too long to cook and then becomes hard and rubbery. I would advise you get a griddle if you don't have one. You can use the stove, maybe set your temperature on low, medium. However, with using the stove and just a skillet, you need to make sure to grease your pan, which is fine, except you get those specks and it's not such a pretty looking pancake. With the griddle, no greasing, just set it at 325 degrees and you're golden. It's gonna be pretty, there's not gonna have those spots, it's not gonna have those toasty burn spots, it's just gonna be perfect. I am using a 1/4 cup measure, again, with my parchment paper. I don't like scrubbing counters. Of course, you always have to give it the wipe down when you're done, but I like to save myself time. So I'm gonna put it in here, grab about a 1/4 cup of my pancake batter. Now, as you're putting them on, remember, shape them out to your little circle, but also remember, the closer you are to the heat source, those are gonna cook first. So I put them there first. Well, I'm also gonna flip them first because it's closer to my heat source. I'm gonna fill my griddle. And you know, maybe some's a little bigger than the others, but the kids love that. That way they can fight about who gets the bigger pancake. So I will let that go for about 2.5 to 3 minutes, and then we will flip it. So I'm gonna check these and see, you can check them by just lifting up a little. You see how that's perfect. That's gonna be great. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this one. And look how pretty and golden that is. It doesn't have those specks, you know, and also on this one's looking good too. Check the bottom. And you know, you check and it needs a little more, let it have a little more. That's no big deal. But yeah, these are all good. These are just fine. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. And then the way they're sponging up, I love it. I'm gonna give that another second. Okay, this one looks good. Let me get rid of that little guy. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And then you give them another, I would say about 1.5 minutes on the other side. Again, we'll just check. But because they're set so low, the middle is also getting cooked. While I'm waiting for that, let me show you this too. I just thought of this. I've got my griddle here and I've got my KitchenAid. Now, usually I've got my Ninja right here, and I'm very concerned my griddle will melt something. So what I usually do is I put this handy dandy paper towel holder always in between whatever appliance I have there. So this time, of course, it's the KitchenAid. I know it's far away. I don't care. I worry I'm gonna do something. Or if there's a cord, I'll wrap the cord around here. Anyway, I protect around the griddle because I want to enjoy my pancakes without any remorse for the appliance I have lost. Okay, let me check these pancakes. It's looking good, looking good. Just keep checking them here and there. You don't want to check them too much because you're lifting them off the heat source, but you know, when it's feeling like it should be about done, yeah, this one looks good. And just plate them there, and they're so moist, and they smell so good, and that's the vanilla. Vanilla is a must. I mean, if you don't have it, I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just telling you now, it's like the kids will come bounding down the stairs. We're having pancakes for breakfast because they're smelling that vanilla. They're not smelling the flour, and it's not the sugar bringing them down, it's that vanilla. So absolutely something you want to make sure to have. Yes, this one, I'm going to give that another minute, that one another minute. And you'll see how they're not flat and they're soft, and then they're fluffy. And you know, when you flip them and you see, when the first time you flip them and you see that they kind of bounce up a little, golden. It's great. I love it. So this one's done. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And they're going to be so delicious too. But see how pretty they look? And then you just add your next batch. And you know, you want to make them smaller, you get more. You want to make them bigger, that's great. You know, you just do what is your thing, how would you like it. And you know, in the holidays, I'll shape hearts for Valentine's Day. Now we will serve up our awesome buttermilk pancakes. Put your pats of butter on there. Or pat of butter, you don't want more than one. Yes. Top it with your favorite pancake syrup. And now you have homemade buttermilk pancakes that taste delicious.